What's going on, everybody? Here we are, it's another week at the Home Theater Hobbyist, and this week we have our full review of the SONOS Beam. So let's get to it. If you're new to this channel, first of all, thank you for watching. And also, if you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, comment, use those links in the description below, and share these videos with your friends. So here it is. This is the SONOS Beam, the sound bar from Sonos. It comes in both black that you see here and white, both finishes, so it'll fit most home decors. This plays both music, movies, TV, and all sorts of other audio, including podcasts, audiobooks, games, all sorts of things. You can pair this with your existing Sonos hardware so that you can do multi-room music and also play sound from your TV. If you have a pair of Play Ones and a sub, you can actually add this in and you get a full 5.1 setup. Supported features include Amazon Alexa support, Apple AirPlay compatibility, speech enhancement to clarify movie dialogue, night mode so you don't disturb those that may be sleeping, Wi-Fi, 802.11a, b, g, and n, and Dolby decoding only, no DTS, which is pretty typical in this category and price range. So moving on, let's talk about the soundbar itself. As you can see, it's just about 25 inches long, it's about 4 inches deep, and just under 3 inches tall. Along the top here, you have your touch sensitive controls along with your microphones for Amazon Alexa. You've got your track back, track forward, play, pause. You can actually touch it to turn the volume up or down. And you also have a button for the microphone. So you can hit this button to turn the microphone on or off. Along the front, behind the mesh grille, are your speakers. Basically, this is a 3.1 system. So you've got surrounds here, and then you've got a center there. So you can't see them, but they are there. Along the back, you have your power connection for the power cord, a button for syncing to your Wi-Fi network when you're setting it up, an Ethernet jack, and an HDMI connection. Now, this is the only HDMI connection on the soundbar. You will need to connect the other end to the HDMI audio return channel on your television, HDMI ARC. Now, one thing I will say is if you don't have an ARC connection on your television, this comes with an HDMI to optical audio adapter in the box. So you'll actually have to plug that into your optical audio port on your TV. Along the bottom, you have 4 rubber standoffs so the soundbar doesn't slide across the table. They also help decouple the soundbar from the table so you don't get any rattling or buzzing from the speakers. You also have 2 holes for screws. Sonos sells a wall mount that you can actually mount this to and mount it to the wall, and you can use it again mounted to the wall. There's no dedicated hardware remote with this soundbar, but like we said, you have the touch sensitive buttons along the top so you can turn the volume up and down here. You can also use the Sonos app to change the volume, and you can use your TV remote. This automatically connects to your TV and uses the remote. If it doesn't automatically connect, you can go into the Sonos app and manually add the remote. Moving on the setup, you can check out my previous video where I actually did the setup and the unboxing for this, but just to give you the quick highlights, the first thing you want to do is you want to download the Sonos app. Then you want to place your soundbar wherever it's going to be. From there, just run the app. It will tell you when you need to plug in the power cable and when you need to plug in the HDMI adapter and do other things. So setup is actually really easy as long as you follow the step-by-step tutorial of the app. Now let's listen to a couple of sound samples and then I'll give you my impressions.
It's your store key, turn to on position. We got you. Come on, man, watch his way. Wait for the glow plug light. Come on. That should be it. Oh, there we go. Mr. Timmy. Power again?
What?
It's called evasive driving, sweetheart.
Hopefully you enjoy those sound samples. Now I'm going to rank this soundbar in different categories from 1 to 5. 1 being the absolute worst and 5 being the absolute best. And the first category I'm going to start with is design. From a design standpoint, I give this a 5 out of 5. Overall, it's very sleek and compact. It looks really good. Honestly, it fits just about anywhere in your home. I really like the fact that it comes in the two colors, both black and white, so it can fit most home decors. And it just looks good. I mean, for such a small box, it really does give you a lot of sound. I could see somebody putting this in their kitchen and it sounds really great in their bedroom, in your front room, and people honestly won't notice it because it's so small. And the overall fit and finish is really good. It feels really good in the hand. It's got some weight to it, which is nice. You want a product like this to feel a little bit heavy. It weighs about 6 pounds, but overall, I think the design is really, really good. Moving on to features, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I really like the sound enhancement, the night mode, and the Amazon Alexa support. But I do wish they would add things like Google for Google Home or whatever the Google voice control service is, Siri, and I wish they had a few more HDMI ports. That way you wouldn't have to use just your TV as your HDMI switcher. Now let's talk about the main thing you want to talk about when it comes down to a soundbar, and that is audio quality. And from an audio quality standpoint, I give this a 4.5 out of 5, or maybe even a 5 out of 5. This thing sounds superb. It has a nice, warm, rich, full-bodied sound without being tinny, and having such a small cabinet, it's not tinny or anything like that. It just has a nice, pleasant tone. When I first set this up, I was listening to a song and I was amazed by just how good that song sounded, coming from such a small sound bar. One of the things I did was, as I was playing the song, since I was playing it over Wi-Fi, I actually turned on my main speakers and I was listening through my my front left and my front right clip speakers that are floor standers. And I mean, they sounded better, you know, more separation, all of those things. But at the same time, because it was a 2-channel song, at the same time, this really did hold its own, and I was really, really impressed by the sound. Now, moving on to movies, I was watching movies, and of course I want to hear the surround sound. And sitting in the sweet spot, you get really good surround sound from the soundbar. Dialogue is nice and anchored in the center, and you also have your music and all these other things going on the outside. And honestly, I thought the dialogue was, I mean, it was so anchored that I kind of wanted to turn down the dialogue just a little bit, but it did sound really, really good. And whenever I'm testing soundbars, one of the things I like to do is I like to sit in the center and listen to the surround. And then I like to move over one chair and listen, and then move over to the other side one chair and listen, and just see how much the surround sound effect drops off. And with some soundbars, I mean, it drops off. You're hearing single speaker here, single speaker here. Well, with this one, the surround sound didn't drop off all that much. You still heard good surround sound when you were sitting one seat over, one way or the other. And so that's really good if you're sitting on a couch with your family. Everybody's still getting some surround sound. So I thought this did a great job handling the surround sound effects. Now, this doesn't have a whole lot of bass. One of the things I did in the app, it gives you EQ settings, so you can EQ it out if you want, but it also just gives you just basic controls like bass, treble, and I think loudness. Now, in the center, when you set that app up, it has bass set at the center along with treble set at the center. I moved it one over and it sounds great. I really, really enjoyed it. Now, some of you are going to ask, should I get the subwoofer? Honestly, if you want really good bass, yeah, you should get the subwoofer. But this really does have a good bass on its own without a subwoofer. But if you added a subwoofer, it would definitely sound better. But it does really good on its own. I'm really, really impressed with the audio quality coming out of the soundbar. Overall, if you're looking for the best sub under $500, I recommend that you pick this one up because it sounds great. I mean, it's got a nice, warm, rich, full sound. If you want a little bit more bass, you can add in the sub, or you can go with that Sonos amp and use your own subwoofer. It's got great features, including Amazon Alexa. You can do multi-room music. You can connect it to your TV. Basically, it does everything that you'd want a soundbar to do with respect to under $500. Obviously, it doesn't do Dolby Atmos, but otherwise it does everything else. It sounds great. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. Consider supporting us at patreon.com/HomeTheaterHobby. Pick up this soundbar on Amazon. We'll talk to you next time.